My name is Tresor, and I'm from North Canton. I was a recent Hoover graduate, and now first year at Harvard University. It all started with an announcement on the board in one of my classes. What I found interesting with Tom Tod was I already knew a friend that had already done one of the programs, and he was able to install new fountain systems in our school to include the water bottle filler. And so I had thought, why can't I try out my own idea? So I had gotten together with one of my friends. We thought we came up with a pretty robust idea, sparking the park, and so went for the grant. So we were thinking about one of the local parks in North Canton being Price Park. There are some aspects that were getting a little old, so we just had the idea of beautification. It included a lot of things. We wanted to repave the sidewalks, and we came across this cool aquaponics system. And so we just were throwing out a bunch of ideas. It was a very large idea for sure, but it also served as a good lesson in terms of what could realistically be done and grappling with, okay, so then what are we going to try to prioritize? What feels important to us? What feels important to our stakeholders? We ended up sort of this silhouette of a coyote that you would sort of maintain their geese to stay away from certain areas. We had made bat boxes to try to help maintain the local bat population, fundraising for the people who are managing the park, and then finally we also did a local park cleanup. Those weren't as macroscopic as changes as we were initially thinking about, but I think it really served as a meaningful experience for us to see what it means to make real world change. It's very easy to talk change, but it's another thing to do it. I think my experience definitely was instructive in a lot of areas of leadership, civic engagement, but also being able to be comfortable with adults and not having that as a barrier. Another thing I would say would be even how to be a leader among my peers. It was actually a really difficult thing to manage initially. Progress in the project was inhibited by people messing around way too often. I mean, you could already imagine with a ragtag team of middle schoolers that it can be difficult sometimes to focus. Our mentors were there to guide us, but I think even getting people to the meetings, following up, reminding what tasks were taught me that you had to be a strong communicator. I think over time it really strengthened my leadership skills. I would say that it allowed me to see how different pieces of the community fit, sort of like puzzle pieces in solving a larger problem, because you had multiple people who you have to have in consideration when you're doing a project. After we had come up with these ideas, we had to go present in front of the park board and discuss through what could realistically be done, because they were the ones who were managing Price Park. So it was an important conversation to have. Tom Tod for me was definitely a Kickstarter. It was this place where I could really explore through my ideas and do so without much risk, which allowed us to try different things. Some things worked, some things didn't work. But I think what it did was attune leadership skills we were mentioning, but also this idea of civic engagement and what else could I do? There's so much else there that could change in the world, and you notice those things now because you had been working on them. It definitely promoted my participation in a lot of public service activities. I think Tom Tod really promotes this idea of what are you passionate about? How can you get further involved? So even my own feeling of efficacy of like what can I do to explore my passions? I think that it played a role in some of the academic opportunities I went for. I would say even after I graduated high school, there was this similar grant opportunity. It's coincidentally named Spark. It was more of a transition between high school and college. And I found the whole process, I guess, was pretty cyclical in terms of This is something that I did in middle school and really enjoyed, and I'm coming back to the end of high school. I would say that experiences like Tom Tod would be particularly important to middle schoolers just because you're in this age or you're starting to explore what interests you, and you still have that creativity and passion that you have from when you were younger, but also this more rigorous thought process that you're basically forming throughout middle school. With something like Tom Tod, the opportunities are endless. You could help serve in different areas. With middle school as well, sometimes you could get this sense of you're just trying to maybe fit in with the crowd, or you don't think that you're anything particularly special just because there are sometimes a lot of big people in the room. And so I think that one cool thing about Tom Tod, it makes sure that the process is your own and that you really are boosting your self-confidence and self-efficacy for what you can do in the community. It's an important reminder that young people can change the world in amazing ways, and that's not something that's cliche to say, but can actually happen. The great thing about What If is that dreams can become a reality.
In the summer of 2020, Tresor interviewed professionals in his hometown with the goal of helping high school students get career advice and build self-awareness through hearing the stories of professionals in the community. You can see Tresor's work, Town Talks with Tresor, at mentorstark.org. Tresor will be entering his second year at Harvard University this fall, where he is majoring in global health and medicine.